Yeah, I think for anybody who wants to do business in a different country, that they take time to talk to the people about what the differences in culture were. Like, I wanted to pay an above average salary, and on the commission side of things, we were going to pay less commissions. And when we first did that, we had a lot of employees who work 3 days and then go to the beach with their families. And so I didn't want to change how much I paid them, but I changed the way that I paid people. So I started paying a really lower base, and all the revenue that they could make was in commissions, because I wanted the people who were hungry to be rewarded. I didn't want to be taken advantage of as a business owner either. And I think you have to really work through all of those things. What are the holidays that are going to impact you in a foreign country? Because it's not Thanksgiving. That was only celebrated in America. But there are holidays here in Mexico where I'm going to have trouble staffing people because of the way the culture is. And so people take that time off. They don't show up. They want to be with their families. Culturally, Mexico, and a lot of Latin cultures is about music. They're about family. They're about religion. They have a lot of values that are really, honest and awesome, and, things that I really admire and love. And you have to respect that and learn how to build a company around those values that encourage those values, as opposed to a company that goes against any of those things. Mexico, still behind the United States, has a large industrial mindset. They're excellent for putting autos together. They're excellent for putting, aerospace. You tell them what to do and they do it. I had a lot of communication issues early on where I would say, hey, can you listen to these recordings and provide some feedback? And they go, okay. And I'd say, so what did you hear? They go, well, we listened to the recordings. They were good. I'm like, well, that's okay. Were there any that were bad? Oh, yeah, a few. Yep. Did you write it down? No. No, why? You didn't ask me to. It was really, a lot of this stuff was direct. Like, there was no thinking involved. It was like, you told me to listen to recordings and provide feedback. I listened to 50 recordings. They were good. There were a few bad ones. I'm like, that's not what I meant by providing feedback. Okay. So then I'd have to create forms that would say, okay, in the greeting, how is their voice tone? I literally had to break down a call into a scorecard so that when they listened, it was an active listening, and it was creating feedback that we could use to improve performance.
Sure, they respond to a process. So you created a process which they were willing to follow, because they'll do whatever you say.
Yeah, they were. It was definitely a lot of fun. Yeah, there are laws that protect employees here in Mexico. You can't just fire people. And the reason I put it in the book, and the reason I talk about it in the book, is because I think a lot of people work with other countries. I think that we're in a global economy. I think if you're an employer and you're working with a call center in the Philippines, you should know how the labor laws work. You shouldn't just assume that you could drop your business from them and they can fire 100 people at the drop of a hat without incurring cost. If you want to be a good human being and be good partners, in this world of business, you have to understand the impact that's created in some circumstances. And it doesn't mean that you can always control the impact, but I put it in here just because I wanted people to know the challenges we went through and that they can be going through the same challenges. And it could help them be more impactful in the business that they're in if they're working in a foreign country. We wanted to have meetings because we were in America and they were here, and we were trying to communicate all these different things that had happened. And the way we were trying to communicate it wasn't as processed as it is today. As it is today, we say, this is what I'm working on. These are the top priorities. These are my stuck points. I could use help from X, Y, and Z. But that call doesn't happen with the whole group. That call happens with whoever can help them with the stuck points, right? And so we kind of have that meeting that says, this is what I'm working on. This is what I need help with. These are my stuck points. I could use a call with Dave as a follow-up after this call, or later on today, can we do 1 o'clock? Yep. Okay, next. And we go through the room and everybody knows what everybody's doing, and we do follow-up meetings if we need to, and the communication is broken down in a much different way. A lot of this was, my friend Cameron Harold wrote a book called Meetings Suck. A lot of what we learned how to do came from coaching from Cameron. He was like, you guys have to do 7-minute meetings. He was like, no more than 7 minutes. And we had a lot more people, so sometimes they'd be like 11, but we'd do our best to get meetings done in 7 to 11 minutes, and then we'd have the follow-ups when we needed them. And as a result, we became more efficient as a company and we got more things done.